Welcome back to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. You're joined this week by myself, Mick, and Age. No Jimmy on the podcast this week.
Jimmy's too busy celebrating after the Cows got their first win.
Finally,
He's up in Townsville.
he was pretty grouchy.
Yeah, he was loving it.
He needed a win.
Yeah, but he was pretty confident, but he was confident every other week. So I'm not going to give him too much credit.
I'm sure he's
there.
probably confident this week too.
He is. But yeah, no Jimmy, but
The show goes on.
Who cares? We go on.
Who cares? Better. Well, now that he's not here, we can just be biased to South the whole time because Age, we're both Rabbitohs supporters. We're 3-1 to start the season, upsetting the reigning premiers in the Panthers on Thursday night.
Like Panthers came into that game, they were favourites, albeit they didn't have Cleary and Edwards, two key players. So we didn't have Trell. I think Wayne said it the best in his post-conference interview. It was like, you know, they were missing players, but so are we. So
100%.
South deserved to win.
Ty
Second half
Munro,
was disgusting.
AJ, list goes on.
Kid. Second half didn't score a point.
No, I don't even think we got within the 20 metres.
Which is scary because we can have lapses in our defence and just let points in. Like when Leota went over there and they disallowed it, I was like, holy shit.
It was
like,
a godsend.
We're going to actually choke this. But,
100%.
you know, we got the win and we're 3 wins, 1 loss without Trell. Trell comes back, so fingers crossed. Get the job done over the Chooks.
What do you make of Trell being named this week but back to centre? He hasn't played centre since.
We were tossing it up, weren't we? Like the whole week's coming into it. Jai Gray leading the Daly Cherry-Evans. He's obviously earned that spot and he's earned himself another chance there. But I do think the injuries to Campbell Graham and like the lack of depth in the outside backs really made it a bit easy for Wayne, being like, you know, it's a bit of a Band-Aid fix. Trell's coming off a hammy injury. He doesn't want to do too much running at fullback with that hammy injury. Let him chill out in the centres. Then when Campbell comes back, potentially put him back to fullback, Jai to 14.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think it's his full-time position for the rest of the season. I mean, let's face it, if he does play centre, he is probably the best centre in the game. Maybe say Stephen Crichton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Herbie's up there.
But if I'm
When
asking
he's
you,
firing.
are you taking Trell or Herbie as your centre?
We've seen what he does for New South Wales.
100%.
You know, he's insane when he gets good ball, early ball. Like, he's unstoppable.
It helps now, especially with like Campbell Graham out, Alex Johnson out. A bit light on the backs in terms of like first grade experience. So someone like Trell slotting in who's, like you said, easing him back in, it's perfect.
But the question is, like, if they do want to leave Jai fullback, then where does Wyden go when Campbell's back? You know, does Wyden have to play a middle field role, or does Wyden stay there? Campbell goes to the wing. Like, there's some good headaches that Wayne has, but yeah, fair play to Jai Gray. Keeping Trell out of this team is absolutely insane for a 19-year-old.
I think he's 20 now.
Is he 20 now?
But in terms of keeping him out, yeah, exactly. He's
leading the Daly Cherry-Evans. He's on 14 points.
I think people forget how hard it is to get on top of the Daly Cherry-Evans. Like, he's outplaying someone like Kalen Ponga.
Yeah, and he's 170 centimetres, which is even more impressive. He just gives everything at 100 miles an hour. There was one play where, I don't know, it's not even a big play, but they kicked the 40-20 and he was way out of position. But his speed, he literally got there within like 2 seconds and stopped it. Like any other fullback probably would have let that go out in 40-20.
And he leads the post-contact meters as well. For someone of his stature, it's unbelievable. And full credit to him keeping out of the side. But yeah, we'll touch on our chances this week against the Roosters.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole preview for round 5 we're up to now?
Yeah, round 5.
Jeez, it goes quick.
On the other end of the spectrum, the Eels, they're changing their name. They're adding an extra 3 L's in
100%. 4 straight L's.
It's unbelievable.
0-4. Like,
to be fair, I did think they would regress. I didn't have them in my bottom 4. I thought they'd go worse than last year.
I thought they'd go better when I knew Moses was still there. Once he got injured, and then you hear Browns leaving the club, like, new coach. There's a lot going on there, and it's just not working at the moment.
Well, look, I think Jason Riles has come in, and he's pretty much done a clear roster. Like, you've seen who he's sent off to other clubs, like Regan Campbell-Gillard's gone, Sevo, Garth. Like, there's a bit of a rebuild happening.
Yeah.
So, but it's just tough considering they were in this position like less than 10 years ago. Yeah. And it's crazy that their premiership window, they really had that 1 year, and it's already back on its head.
And obviously they got really close, lost the Panthers.
Just going off the start of their year. So they lost by 38 to the Storm, Tigers 26, Dogs by 8, and the Seagulls 14. All pretty bad in defence. Considering that out of this list, like Storm and Dogs are probably 2 heavyweight contenders. Seagulls and Tigers, like they're
Seagulls are right.
somewhat
They're
of the
probably
mid-pack.
like around the eighth-ish.
But the biggest issue for me is they've only scored 44 points.
Yeah, which is no more than an average of 2 tries a game. You know, you can't win many games scoring 2 tries.
And the thing is, well, like I think when you watch them, you can see it. They don't attack the way that a team should.
Yeah.
It's just very clunky and it looks like there's no organisation.
And even their forwards aren't
there's
playing
no go
great as
forward,
well.
no. People-
Defense was a bit better against Manly, a bit better. And then
But
they obviously leaked a few points.
in saying that, Turbo goes off the field for Manly, or as soon as he got injured, and Manly pretty much forgot how to attack too. And Eels still couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like full credit to someone like Lomax, who's actually trying 110%
Yeah, like
to
2
try and
weeks
make
ago,
a
had like
difference.
30 runs. Like the effort's there. I think it's just like obviously the connections and chemistry is not gelling, and you know they need Moses back desperately.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know when he's back, but he has to rush himself.
Someone like Moses is like 100%. You need him back in his state of origin caliber, but I just feel like that injury ain't right, and they're gonna bring you back early, and it's just you can't do a full year without Moses.
I know. Well, are they going to raise the flag already? Like it's not. It's only been 4 weeks, but it's an absolute horrendous start. Same goes with the Dolphins, 0-4.
Yep.
You know, Phins well and truly down this year. It was up all of 2023. We're riding him home. Was it 2023 or last year?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy had him as his
Up
prediction.
and down. And then this year it's just like, it's not happening.
No, not at all.
But there are glimpses. Like I'm loving what I'm seeing for Katoa. Hammer though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it the Jamie Chapman effect?
I don't
Is
know
it
if
the
it's
new
her.
girlfriend?
I-
I'm not blaming her.
I don't know, because
it
maybe
doesn't look like he's enjoying himself.
I don't know if he's their fullback answer. Even last year when they were playing well, he was great in that system, but I feel like as well he misses some of those effort areas at times where he's not a big fullback, so he's not getting your massive run meters, which you don't need to be.
But he seems to be missing most of the games, which is like not his normal self. He'd still like pop up and score a match, try do a line break. There was bit of glimpses last week, but the first 3 weeks was really non-existent.
Very up and down.
So I'm hoping he can turn it around this week.
It's a hard one as well because someone like Trey Fuller, when he came in last year, I thought played pretty well.
Similar to a Jai Gray mold, right?
Yeah,
he's
like-
short. He's going to give you 110%, heaps of runs, very fast.
I think they got a bit more out of Trey Fuller being fullback than they did with
Yeah.
Hammer, but it's one of those ones that
But
can't
he's
really do much.
yeah, he's so good that like when he gets it right, he's nearly untouchable because he's so fast. So who they got this week? It's an easier matchup.
They have the Gold Coast Titans,
Yeah,
so-
a bit easier. The Titans are going
In
well.
saying
To
that,
be fair.
Titans fucking smoked the Roosters there. 2 other teams going really well. The Dogs of War, I mean, undefeated. I mean, going off their oppositions at the start of the year, Dragons, Titans, Eels, their first 3. I think most of the league probably said, you know what, it's great to be undefeated, 3-0.
They
but
probably expected to beat those teams.
yeah, you were probably outright favourites in those games, and let's face it, Eels have lost to everyone. Titans weren't great, and Dragons just had their first win. But then they rolled the Sharks at Shark Park without Burden and kick out. That's a massive win.
Yeah, I think beating him at Shark Park is big, but let alone with their best half and kick out one of their best forwards. Massive exclusions there, but it was just a literal dogfight. I think Reid Marnie said it after the game. It was a dogfight. It was a grind. They were more aggressive. They were tougher. They wanted it more. Bigger shots. Like they showed up, the Dogs, and every one of their players that aren't meant to be superstars of the game are just lifting to another level.
100%. And as well for the Dogs, they play that Penrith style of defence that just want to suffocate teams and force you into errors and frustration. And they had it last year, but now you can really see that they're implementing and they're all buying into that defence system. And to their credit, it's working because they haven't conceded near as many tries as they did.
One try against Sharks, like letting Sharks score only one try, you don't see that often.
And
man.
Sharks have a lot of X factor.
Sharks have like
Hines,
Nico, the outside
Ronaldo.
backs are crazy. Ramian, you know,
They got
Ronaldo.
a stacked back line, so it's incredible. So
Yeah, they shut him out.
Serrato, I mean, when he first signed, everyone was hyping him up as one of the best coaches that hasn't coached a first grade game yet. He's just hit 50 games coaching the NRL, and he's slowly becoming one of the great coaches that we've seen.
Yeah, he had a slow start, didn't he?
Currently, not of all time,
Not of
obviously.
all time, but yeah, he's definitely one of the great younger coaches of the game.
Yep.
That's for sure. But yeah, Doggies fans are absolutely loving it. Belmore's flying. Like, it's great to see when Dogs going well, the NRL's going well, right? Like,
100%.
one of the most passionate fan bases, but just I'm loving what I'm seeing. Like Hayward slotting into 5'8", doing a great role. Preston Mania, our player of the week, absolutely insane. he moved to the left edge where Kickout was, and he got so much ball there.
Yeah, well, I think that's the start of last year. He was there, and then he moved to the right. I don't know. I feel like that left edge is the hot spot.
Yeah.
As well, like I'm really loving Bronson Cherry in terms of his output that he gives them on that edge there. Like his speed is. Remember Roger Fabry? I never forget. We interviewed him, and he was just like, "Yeah, Cherry could be the fastest player in the NRL," and was like, "I'll see it to believe it."
But he's fast and he's powerful, which is like even better. So he's doing great things. Tupanua, unfortunate that he did that late shot because he was putting some massive shots on, doing great work in the middle for Dogs. And you got like Max King, unsung hero, been doing it for years for the Doggies, like so good.
Yeah, I'm
so consistent.
I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from the Doggies.
And then you got Burden, Karaz, and Kickout coming back after the bye.
Yep.
You know, Karaz named on the extended. Don't know if he'll play, but he's close as well. So yeah, positive signs for Dogs. Can they do it in the long run? Can they beat the top 4 teams? Obviously, they just beat Sharks. Can they do it to Storm, Panthers?
Because that was the issue with them last year. That like they were doing so well, they were developing a hype train, but they could not beat. They couldn't beat the Storm.
Can they go? Can they go that one step extra?
Panthers,
you know,
Seagulls in the finals there. Yeah, just go that one step extra.
So I like the hype, but don't get overexcited because we haven't seen everything yet.
Speaking of Seagulls, Tommy Turbo obviously can't take a trip. Another injury.
Comes in MCL. With his hammy injury, strapping on one of his legs, on one of his knees, and then does the other knee. There's strapping everywhere. Like, I feel sorry for him. He's just more time off the field than on the field. It's
getting to the point now when he's getting more unlucky where it's just different injuries in his body that he's not used to. Like, I remember Origin done his pec, he's done a shoulder, cheekbone, hammy's obviously the big one. Now
ankles,
it's knee.
Hammies.
It's just a bit of luck. I actually really feel sorry for him. So this stat probably, shout out Supercoach Whisperer, was probably the most daunting to me. So since his debut in round 1 2011, Daly Cherry-Evans has been eligible to be selected in 353 matches.
Yep.
In those games, he's played 333, only missing 20.
Only missed 20?
So that's since 2011. So sometimes the best advantage is just to be available, and Cherry's definitely doing that.
Durable.
On the other hand, since round 9, 2023. So we're talking
2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah.
Because,
the third year,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like 2 years, right? Tom Troyevich has been available to be picked in 45 matches.
Yep.
He's only played 25 of those, missing 20.
So he missed 20 in just 2 years.
In 2 years.
And Cherry has only missed 20.
I get he's probably just had an unlucky run in the last 2 years, but I feel like he's also played half the season each year.
But when he plays and he survives the game, he's the best on the park most games, which is crazy. So it's a real frustrating one for Manly fans because especially next year without Cherry, if Turbo's injured, who do you have? You know, Lehigh, to his credit, Hopewadi's been great when he replaces Turbo. Like he's so small, but he runs with everything. Like great with his hands. He's young. I think he's 19.
He's really young.
So
I feel sorry
he's
for
the future.
I feel sorry for Turbo though, because it's obviously going through his head like, what's my next injury or when's an injury coming? Because we talk about it in the preview in the season. Every media outlet talks about it. It's like Seagulls are a real threat, but
up to Turbo.
It's up to Turbo.
As we mentioned, like it's inevitable. He's probably going to get one injury throughout the year. You just hope it's not a long-term one. This is 4 weeks. If he goes on to play the rest of the year, you can say brilliant. You know, you only missed 4 weeks, but you just don't know with Turbo.
You don't know.
Especially hammies. They're just so easy to do on repeat.
In fact, he's done his MCL now. It's just where this injury come from. Apparently he did he injured his knee and then he played on. He heard a click. So I don't know.
Not great. Another thing that has been failing recently, 18th man. What is going on, guys? We said we're about to sack it. I think it's 4 weeks in a row that someone hasn't got it. We need someone to step up and deliver. DM us, respond to our story when we put it up. Who's going to be 18th man this week? All you have to do is say you want to put your balls on the line and pick something $3 or higher at odds. Okay. What about Dabble, Mick? Why should people sign up to Dabble? What do we offer them?
Plenty. There's plenty. I mean, it's the number one betting app in terms of everything you can bet on. We love betting on the horses on there, especially Jimmy, number one. Every day we put up tips and he puts write-ups as to why he likes that tip.
Some I think nice multis as well.
I think that's the number one thing with Dabble is the sense that in betting, you see a lot of people giving out tips, right? Yeah. And sometimes they'll just list the horse, they'll list a line or just with no explanation. Yeah. Dabble encourages you to do a write-up just to give you more credibility.
And you can follow who you want. Exactly. If someone's hot, you can follow them, you can jump on there And like it keeps you accountable as well. You can see the results. You can see who's winning, who's losing. And that's it. Balls on the line.
You
sort
can
of stuff.
pick anyone. You can jump off them if they're losing. Jump on when they're hot. We've been hot recently, so
We have been.
It's a good time to jump
especially
on.
the horses. We do NRL tips predictions for every game on there as well.
Yeah.
From first try scorers, multis, anytime value try scorers. We have the lot. So if you want to join using the code Cast Patrol or use the link in our bio.
That'll take you right there. So download Dabble. Remember, what's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Okay, let's go straight into the round 5 preview. Is it round 5?
It's round 5.
I still can't believe that. I wrote round 4 on the sheet. That's how
all right. I'll
bad
forgive,
it is.
I'll forgive you, mate.
Okay, so Raiders are $2.50 versus Sharks $1.53. The stat that stands out here is Raiders won 4 of their last 5 matchups versus Sharks at GIO Stadium.
Yep.
So Raiders in Canberra, they're always a tough feat to beat. What do you think, Mick? Where are you leaning towards?
Yeah.
Smithy's returns.
Well,
Ero's out for Sharks.
Raiders, I reckon, in the last however many years I've tipped, I've had 2 teams that are always my hoodoo teams. I don't know how to pick. The Raiders and the Warriors.
Yeah.
Proper inconsistency. And this year's been no different. I tip Raiders to get the spoon. And you all laugh at me because they start 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
Then they lose the next 2, and they might probably lose this week. And then you go, you know what? Maybe they're not as good as we thought everyone was. So I don't know. Yeah,
I was willing to forgive them against that Manly game because of the sin bin.
Yeah, I think so.
But then against Cowboys, like they had their chance. Savage not passing to Owen Paddy.
What was the score at that point? Do you know? Or
They were
roughly?
down by 6 or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like
close.
it was to go even or go up or something.
really?
Like, it was close. It was before that didn't score that last one. The scoreline didn't give it justice.
You have to
Like
pass
he
that
had
there.
to pass
Like
that.
have to pass that.
Even if Paddy gets tackled, you go, okay, I did my job. I drew and pass. But like that's like
You
don't
always
do that.
draw and pass.
I know Savage is fast, but come on, it was a 2-on-1.
You got to pass.
He had to give that.
Probably just goes back to experience. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Sharks in this one. I think that game against the Dogs was probably just an out of character off game, and to their credit, like they were still in the fight for most of the game. Just towards the end,
Towards the end, it got away from him.
It got away. Raiders, on the other hand, I did not like what I saw against the Cowboys there.
I tell you who's worrying me? KO Weeks at fullback.
Yeah, I didn't want to single him out, but yeah, it is.
It's hard not to. Like I'm sure Ricky's getting a bit frustrated. Like it's been a few weeks now where under the high ball he's been either not really contesting it or making an error when contesting, and it's led to tries directly.
I think coming through he was more 5'8".
Yeah.
Right, and I don't think he 100% adapted to the fullback
Yeah.
role, and then it's not been a good start to the year for him.
No,
at
like we
fullback.
know what he can do in attack. He's like his speed's blistering.
Yeah.
But he's going to get peppered on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Like Trindle's bombs are high. He's going to give him time. Ronaldo will be peppering him. Kennedy will be going up there. Stone Street. There's going to be a lot of pressure. So how he responds will be massive here.
Only thing for Raiders that might just get them home is playing at home.
Yeah,
at Joe Stadium.
just
They,
like
they
the
seem to
cold
live there.
in Canberra. It's a different gravy going out
And
there.
their forward pack, I think, keeps them in games more often than not.
Yeah.
Like when their backs aren't firing, their forward pack with Tarpany, Horsburgh's pretty much made
back-
amends with Ricky, and you're going, wait, Ricky, you really chose not to play this bloke for a full season.
Yeah.
Just
He's looking fit though. He's back to his good old form.
And then you got someone like Nicholson on an edge, Hosking.
He's solid, Nicholson. I was watching
He
him
was
closely.
alright.
Runs a good line.
And even Hudson Young goes,
Hudson Young's
he's really good.
Yeah, and then Starling off the back of it all, making every chance his own.
Ricky
like-
will never give Starling the minutes he deserves.
Yeah.
He cuts him short to his credit.
but he gave Owen
Paddy's
Paddy
not
the
bad.
last 20. So
it helps.
that means he has a lot of trust there for Owen.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm going Sharks on that one. Who are you going?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Sharks.
And Jimmy.
They've won 3 in a row versus Raiders.
Jimmy's going Raiders, so he must be backing him in at home.
And Gnocchi's actually got her tips here as well.
We'll go through them later, all in
We'll
one
through 'em
go. We'll
later.
keep people keen.
Yeah, we'll go through them later.
The next game, Panthers taking on the Cowboys 6 p.m. slot.
Yes, I think Panthers will win. They've won 8 of their last 13 against Cowboys. Cleary returns. Tottle's out with a hammy, I believe, and McLean replaces him. Papali'i back row. Lindsay Smith into the starting side. Cowboys the same 117 team. Do you see an upset?
I'm going to go Penrith on this one, but I'm getting a similar vibe as I did last week when South took on Penrith, in the sense that I know it's Penrith and $1.20 or
Cleary's
whatever.
back though.
Cleary's back, but you look at this 1 to 6: Dane Laurie, Paul Allen Motti, Tungor, Jenkins, McLean, Jack Cole.
Yeah.
Half of these players were playing cup at one point.
Yeah.
In conversations at the start of the year. And now they're in the back line.
I was at the game and I was looking at when they had the players on. I was like, there's a few weaknesses here in this Panthers side. Like the depth is finally being tested.
I think so.
But in saying that, they still have classy players. Like Lindsay Smith and Yo, their go forward's incredible when they're on. That second half, they were powering through us. And now you chuck Cleary in, the way you can orchestrate the team, kick the corners, goals. I think that it's enough to beat Cowboys, especially at Combank. It's not in Townsville.
I think they'll do enough.
I think they'll win.
A good point that I want to raise for Penrith is in the last few seasons, right, like when the times are tough and injuries happen and they've been rated like Critter, Kickow, Appy, list goes on. They've always had strong reserves to come in and fill those places.
And do a good job.
Yeah. But now I think teams have worked out that their reserves are actually quality too. Like someone like Yongi, right?
Yeah.
He played one game and he's already been snatched up by Parramatta to go fullback.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, he's their fullback, Dan Laurie's on the wing or 5'8". You know what I mean? So that breeding ground of talent's also gone. And
even someone like Jenkins who like left the club, went to Knights, comes all the way back on like a Ron Massey Cup deal or something. Yeah. And now he's playing great in the centres. Like he'll probably have that spot for the rest of the year if he keeps it. But if he plays good.
This forward pack, have to give a shout out. Moses Leota, Lindsay Smith running that front row.
Lindsay Smith's unreal, man.
And
I love him.
And someone like Yo playing his 250th game this week. I'm sure they're all going to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, that's another thing, eh? Just a little milestone.
Just a little one. It'll be enough. And like you said, the Iceman's
I think he's the first Panther to reach 250 NRL games.
Yeah,
I saw that pop up. So,
I think Panthers.
Massive for
I think Panthers definitely win this one. But you know what? If Cowboys come out and do the job,
Cowboys need to start well. I think that was Jimmy's points the other weeks. If they start well, they're a chance. If they don't, see you later.
Yep. All right. Well, now we take on the blockbuster and probably the game of the week.
Yes.
Rabbitohs taking on the Roosters. Our team versus arch rivals, the Roosters.
Would you say it's the biggest rivalry in Australian sport?
Just trying to think. Well, New South Wales versus Queensland.
True.
So I would say in club rugby league, 100%.
Or club sport.
Yeah, maybe. There might be some AFL ones that I'm probably missing out on, like Collingwood taking on someone's probably a massive derby.
Yeah. But like the history goes back
I will say it's
hundreds of years.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Since what, 1908? Were they both in the comp then?
They're both foundation clubs.
You know, like
they're
this is a massive rivalry.
Separated by Anzac parades.
Yes,
so
exactly. And something that I can't separate, Mick, in the last 10 matches between South and Roosters, it's split 5 wins each.
Is it?
So there's not even like recent history that's telling us who's going to win this. Yeah. And I think form doesn't really matter with these two clubs. Like they both want to win. They both hate each other. Like no one wants to see the other club win. So it doesn't really matter if like South have won 3, Roosters have won 1 game. It's all out the window on Friday night. So it's a really tough one to pick.
I'm coming from a biased point of view.
Yep.
But South are genuinely going to rob the Roosters this week.
Come on.
It's going to be a romping.
What makes you say that besides the hat you're wearing?
Well, the fact that South has started the season 3-1, normally South is, when Latrell's out, I struggle. And they desperately need Latrell to come back and they need him. We started season 3-1 and now we get the benefit of Trell just jumping into the centres. You get someone else like Hubner back at lock, re-strength our bench. And from what I've seen from the Roosters, I know you said form doesn't matter, but it matters to an extent. They've only beat the Panthers, and I think that was probably paper over the wall, just covering some cracks.
Yep.
They've not been good. They've not been good the
last 2 weeks. They've been very poor, especially in attack.
I don't know where it stems from. People are quick to blame the halves and go, oh, yeah, it's Chad's fault, and they're blaming to Chad. I think he's been ordinary. I agree, but it's also their forward pack. Like, they're not making the meters.
They've had a lot of injuries and concussions, though.
Massive.
You know, like Radley has been concussed every game. He really has to watch out.
Watch out.
I don't know. I feel bad for him. Like, it's just going too easy. Collins was injured, comes back.
Like
Butcher was out for a bit. Like,
they have injuries.
You know?
Look, every team has injuries. I'm not saying that they don't get them, but when the forwards have been on that have to get them go forward, they're missing that big body like Terrell May that they had. And Maria Hargraves, enforcer.
Mate, they would be kicking themselves watching him play 80 minutes and just absolute machine in the middle. But someone who has really lifted, Nuffler White.
I was going to say, he's been their best unreal. Forward.
Yeah, best forwards and most consistent to start the year.
Yeah, and I think it's as well some of the more experienced boys as well that they're not probably reaching the levels that they were last year. Like someone like Angus Crichton, I think he's been really great.
Yeah.
But he's playing probably like a 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
Last year he was playing 10.
Exactly.
So it's those little ones that are probably stepping down a notch that are hindering him.
Connor Watson comes back in though, right?
Yeah, I think
he's a big inclusion. Like Docker Clay was really overplaying his hand last week. He was going when they had like overlaps. He was scooting. It's like Just got to give the ball to Teddy, give the ball to your outside backs. Let him do the work.
Roosters bench in recent years as well, given how stacked their rosters are normally immense and powerful, and you're scared. Bench is weak. Docker Clay does not bring impact in my eyes. Feketi, still young, yet to make that sort of difference in the pack. Steep's okay without being amazing.
He's
and
young as
Spencer
well.
Lenu's not started well at all.
Lenu off the bench though is much better
different.
play. I
100%.
like that from Robbo, putting Spencer on the bench, let him come on, aggression, impact. So that's positive. I get flashback from Teddy running right against us. So Teddy always lifts in these games. Like, what's the stat here? He scored 5 tries his last 4 versus South. I am tipping South. I'm backing my team in, but I don't think it's going to be a romping as you think.
I think it will. I think you'll see the difference in class come this Friday, and it'll be a big eye-opener in terms of where South are at and really how bad the Roosters
I
are at.
really hope so. But the thing is, like, if we're not starting right and we leak the way we've been leaking points recently, like if we go out to if they go out to a 16-4 lead, then I think that's when we're going to really get tested. But all things being equal, I think South win, and I think that left edge is going to have a field day for South.
Absolute field day.
You got Cody, Latrell, Keon, and Tass, and they're opposing Chad Townsend, Sua Wong, Robert Toya, and Dom Young, who have all been suspect.
Very suspect in defence.
So,
Look, honestly, it's going to be amazing watching South roll them. But don't ever underestimate the Roosters.
and another stat for the other side of the Roosters defensive, they conceded 5 tries to opposition right wingers in the first 4 rounds. So maybe Rava gets a meat pie as well. He was good last week, Rava.
Why? Who defends on their left wing?
Left wing is Toops.
Oh.
Toops and Marky Mark. Yeah, you wouldn't think that.
I thought Toops was generally quite
Usually
good
solid.
defense. Yeah.
There
Maybe
you
it's
go.
the centers inside.
Maybe
it's,
Marky
to be
Mark.
fair,
The new combo.
It does come from your centers.
Yeah.
Okay, next game, Dragons versus the Eels. What odds we got there?
So you got Dragons $1.58, Eels $2.40 to win their first game of the season.
Yep.
Can they go 5 L's in a row?
Eels back at home?
Eels at home, is it?
Yes, Eels at home.
Combank. Oh, man. I really hope they get the monkey off their back, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't like the way they're gelling in attack. Like, there's nothing happening. As we said, they're averaging 2 tries a game.
I can't confidently back the Eels and like my decision with it. There's nothing that I've seen that I've gone, they're going to win this week.
All right, let me read you some stats and you tell me if it's convincing you or not.
Yep.
Okay. Eels have won 6 of the last 9 matchups versus Dragons.
Yep.
Does that help you or you don't give a shit about past?
Well, it depends. Half that team's on the fucking Dragons team now. Like
Yeah,
Gutho
exactly.
and the boys.
Yeah, but then Lomax is versing his old club, so it's going to be interesting. And Eels have won the last 3 matchups against Dragons at Combank. So the home ground does help. I just don't know with Eels. I'm not ready to back them.
Yep.
They get Dylan Walker on the bench. That's definitely a positive.
Yeah,
Riley Smith gets the hooker nod. He's solid.
been okay. He overplays his hand at times, I think.
Did he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's really good and creative. Like, I feel like when he chooses his moments correctly, he can actually be a very, very good hooker.
Yeah.
But just in terms of overplaying his hands at the wrong times, like there was times as well in the first few games of the season where I think it was like last tackle when he scooted the ball.
Yeah.
So
So little things like that he'll get with experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm going to go Dragons here.
Yeah, I think Dragons on this
Who
one.
is Jimmy gone?
Let's just double check who Jimmy is.
Jimmy's gone Dragons as well. And he tipped the Rabbitohs before that.
Yeah.
Wow. Everyone's going Rabbitohs.
Yeah, okay, next game, Titans taking on the Dolphins.
Titans, Dolphins, Queensland Derby. Dolphins won 3 of the last 4 against Titans, which is positive for them, but they also haven't won a game. No. So are they going to break the duck?
The fact that Titans are doing it without Keeney, like they beat Roosters last week, who weren't impressive, but they got the job done without Keeney. It's massive, and they go to Seabus Stadium, so I don't see them losing against the Dolphins.
Tino's been unreal. Jaden Campbell's playing good footy. Brimo's starting to come to life. Like, their Firma's good. Fafita off the bench is sort of working.
Their team, in a way, this is going to sound really weird for you and people listening, but it's like a money ball kind of team where the sense that, like, all right, take away Fafita, Tino and stuff, like, they got really good players in really good positions, but they would never make Origin or anything or, like, in consideration. You probably wouldn't say
they do have good players around the park.
Yeah, it's just like, but they're all money ball in the sense that they just deliver so much more.
Yeah, like someone like
Brian Kelly's a perfect example.
Brian Kelly, yeah. He's unreal for them. Week in, week out, he's just like offloading, tackle breaking. He does it all. Sammy's playing good footy. I like how they put Sammy wing and Jojo Fafita center. That's really working. I think Sammy's a much better winger.
Much better.
And they've still got Khan Pereira to come back. Is Khan Pereira back this week or no?
Still he's not back. No, and
still not back.
Someone even like Sam Verrills, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't rank him in the top 5 hookers.
Nah.
But in terms of what he's been delivering the last few weeks, definitely.
He's been good, yeah.
Verrills
been good. And I think it's off the back of the Tino go forward, Foddy going forward, Campbell Gillard.
It's a good
pack. They got a solid pack as well. So Dolphins are going to have their work cut out. No, I just don't.
Especially Dolphins lose Gilbert for the week. Max Plath goes to lock, which is probably his preferred position.
He needs to stay lock. He was playing lock for 60 minutes last week. So I think he's going to be lock going forward. Gilbert was playing second row. But yeah, Gilbert's a massive loss. Just like he turns up for every play. He's their leader. He's their captain. He's gives it all. So
Dolphins do have great players. It's just the fact that it's just not all coming together at the minute.
Yeah, like I'm loving Katoa. Yeah. Katoa's fucking so good. Nicarima and Patch is good. Herbie has his moments.
I reckon they're probably looking back.
Averillo had a mad try on the weekend.
They're there.
They're always within the game. Like, they were in that game. They should have beat Tigers the week before.
And they could have beat South round 1. Like, their season could be completely different.
They're just not getting... And this going 0-4 is not going to help for, like, the mentality, the pressure. I'm going to stick with Titans at home at Seabus.
Yeah, I'm going Titans on this one, like I said. I think they did the job last week, especially without Keeney. They've proven to me that they got quality across the park. And
they get Jolliffe back as an underrated player, so he'll strengthen the middle as well.
Yep, 100%. Next game, Broncos versus the Tigers. Do we see this going away from the Broncos? Is this a freebie for them?
Oh, nothing's free. Nothing is free. We saw last week with the upsets, like Storm got rolled, Sharks got rolled, Panthers got rolled. Nothing's free in the NRL, especially in this environment this year. Tigers won 4 of the last 6 against Broncos. They got a bit of a record there.
It's a stat.
And they've won 3 of the last 4 at Suncorp against Broncos.
Fair play.
So there's a bit there going for Tigers, but just seeing how they couldn't beat the Warriors at home and they couldn't close that game out and they lose Luai, it's not really giving me much faith.
You'd hate to be a coach. Like Benji watching that from the sidelines, that final 10 minutes where...
it was horrendous.
There was 2 bad errors for note. One, Luai kicks in for the winger... Fatape. And instead of just grounding on it, he goes for the try.
It was second tackle.
Second tackle.
And he tried to kick it out to the sideline. Not even in the field of play. Like, he was aiming the wrong way.
Yeah, it was...
I think he had a mind blank there.
And then obviously the one at the end where Galvin, I think, kicks for Taruva. Taruva makes a half-decent break and dash and then plays the ball.
And then Twirl's too slow to get there.
It was just little things like that. You go, ooh.
Yeah, they are coach killers. That is a perfect example of a coach killer.
But in saying that, like I said, it's probably a win for the Broncos. I don't think it's a freebie, but Tiger's been really good through the middle there, especially someone like Terrell May's just been, and safer.
Bro, how do you play 80 minutes in the middle?
I don't know.
How does is he the fittest front row going around? Like, he didn't even look tired.
Him or has to be, right?
Oh, it's absolutely insane to watch.
It's just non-stop.
It's not possible. 55 tackles, fucking offloads, tackle breaks, runs for days. Like,
it's possible until it's not, when it's going to catch up and it's like, all right, you can't play this many minutes.
Yeah, and I don't know how good it is for his effectiveness. No. Like, give him a 10-minute breather at least, and then he'll come back firing. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but
the Broncos got the job done on Friday night. I think they're impressive. Like,
yeah,
the scary part is as well,
they're not even playing their best.
Not even playing their best. Like, someone like Walsh isn't playing. Imagine when he comes into gear and people predict him for the Daly M this year. Imagine he turns into that form that people predict.
Yeah, it's just those. I think he's really in his head with the errors now. Like, before, he didn't really care because he was every second one was paying off for him, and now it's really like everyone's really got a microscope over it. And he was good for like the first half in the wet. He was really, really careful. He was taking his tackles, copying the hit, and then it just like same sort of thing happened. Just more errors, more bad passes. So I really hope he can turn it around. And at home against the Tigers, it's possible. They lose Ricky. Piakura moves in the starting side. Latu replaces Luai. Like, you think Broncos get the job done.
I think so. And shout out to like some of the lesser known and X Factor players for the Broncos that are absolutely killing it for him. Like, Shibasaki has been a revelation. Like,
mate, who would have thought he'd revive his career?
He was a journeyman. Like, last year he was playing for the Townsville Blackhawks. He played one game for South because South were desperate for players.
Yeah, we chucked him on the wing.
And now he's
keeping Mariner out of the side as well.
Genuinely, yeah.
You know, and Mariner's starting back in any team pretty much.
Even Jesse Arthurs as well. Like, he's always been okay. And then this year, I think when we saw it in the All-Stars, he stepped it up, got the man of the match performance. And it's carried into the season now. Like he's scored, I think, 3 tries.
Scored a handful of tries.
I'm more impressed by the output that he gives in terms of hit-ups. Like
because he broke his jaw last year and he didn't put on much weight. Now he's put on 8 kilos. He looks a bit stockier. He can have that run out of his own end. Cobbo hasn't been even his best form. Like he'll find some form coming into the year before Origin. Reynolds has been great. Ben Hunt's solid for them. Payne Haas. Do we even have to mention him?
Unbelievable.
He's another level. And Corey Pakes, fuck, he's good as well. Nippy as well. Had that mad try where he just caught the markers napping and it was over. So, yeah, good signs for the Broncos. I think they win.
Like. Next game, it's the old rivalry, Seagulls taking on the Storm. I think...
This is another rivalry. Is it rivalry round?
A little bit, yeah.
2 big rivals there.
I was going to say, with Turbo there, I'd say it's probably more closer matchup in my head.
Yeah.
Especially with Jerome Hughes out. I know he's listed on the reserves, but...
Yeah, he's a smoky to be a late inclusion, but I think they'll give him another week.
I think they'll give him another week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Manly just missing a little bit without Turbo. Just a bit of fear factor.
Yeah. They've been winning. They've won a few games, Manly. They're up and down, but I think Storm, they're going to get absolutely drilled at training this week.
Oh.
They had the week off with the bye. Bellamy said he went easy on him. But then after that performance in the wet, I know it was raining, but they were not Storm.
They weren't Storm. I think probably missing Jerome Hughes, they underestimated how big of a loss he would be.
Yeah. Wishart didn't have his greatest game.
Nah, I think he
overplayed his hand a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of dummies.
Controlled the ball a bit too much in terms of how Hughes normally plays, where he's selfless and he goes for the run when it's only on, I guess.
Yeah.
And the first time they played more direct was when they went to Katoa off the scrum, I think it was, and Katoa passed it to Paps.
Then to Paps and he scored. But it just wasn't working. Like Blore dropping the ball over the line, Harry Grant dropping it 5 meters out from the try line. They let in that soft try from Little. It just wasn't their day. It was not their day. It's one to forget. But I do think they'll bounce back. They won 6 of the last 9 against Manly. And Pappy, he loves playing Manly. In the last 2 games, he scored 4 tries. So expect him to cross over again. I think Munster will have a better game. Munster's been really good. He's off the booze, so I think it's helping him. But I want the Storm forwards to step up because they haven't really been great, to be honest.
Apart from maybe Eli Katoa, I don't think they've probably
Josh King's
hit the
been
form
solid.
they wanted to.
Yeah, I think Stefano needs to lift. Definitely, he's not playing many minutes, so the minutes he's on, he has to really be bending that line over.
Even someone like Harry Grant's probably underperformed by his own standards.
Hasn't been great. Not been great, Harry, but he will come. He's one of the best.
The thing
if
is,
not the best hooker in the game, he'll be back.
We know it's all going to click for Storm, and they're already 4th, right? We're acting like they've lost 10 in a row at this point, but it's just more of a shock that they lose games like that. You don't really see it.
Yeah, well, I think Dragons are starting to become their hoodoo because they lost. Dragons beat them at Amy Park last year. Now they beat them here. I know it was at Dragons home, but I think this is where Storm are going to go on their win streak. They got Manly. They should win. Warriors, bit of a hoodoo for them, but they should get them. Then they have Dolphins. Yep. Then they have South. They usually get us at Amy Park. Then they have Raiders, Tigers, Sharks. So that's when it gets tough. I think that this is where they'll be first in no time, I reckon.
Yeah, this is when they put
the foot down right before Origin and they go on a little run.
I like your thinking there, cuz.
Yeah.
Final game of the round, Bulldogs taking on the Knights. Obviously, we just touched on them, undefeated Bulldogs and Knights coming off a
Dogs
bye.
of War are back, aren't they?
Knights do have a little bit of the wood over them, winning 5 of the last games.
8 games,
against the Bulldogs. But this one, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Do you reckon? I thought that, but before I found this stat. The last 4 games between Doggies and Knights have been won by a margin of 24 or more. Oh. So history says someone's going to blow someone out.
So it's either a smashing or
But this year they're both going good. So I don't mind your theory it's going to be close.
Look, Knights
I'm happy to ignore this stat.
I think it helps Knights coming off a bye. Get the body fresh. They weren't great against the Titans in their last outfit there, but I don't know.
And they get a few bigger bodies back. Leo's back.
Yeah, Leo helps throughout the middle.
Just Leo. But Leo's a big inclusion for them.
Massive inclusion. And as long as you got someone like Kalen Ponga there, you're always a chance of winning. And
their outside backs are so strong as well. So they're a chance to Knights.
Yeah, Dogs just need to continue their winning formula that they have been just strangling teams and as well. They just need those players. Like someone like Hayward's been stepping up too. Like if he can play like that again, it will help him.
Yeah,
go a long way.
If Reid Marnie's like being a menace, getting people frustrated, they're putting shots on, they're winning the ruck, and they're defending like they have been, Dogs will go a long way to winning this. But I just think Knights have a bit more points in them. I really like the Knights outside backs. You know, they got Marzu and Best on the left, and on the right they got Gagai, Schiller, Ponga at the back. You know, Sharp's nippy. Like he's so fast, you can't get a handle on him. So it'll be a really interesting one. I'm going to go the upset here. I'm going to go the Knights. Sorry,
Wow.
I think you know, it's sort of like I don't know how to explain it, but when everyone's like riding one team and like everything's going so well for them, you just think it's going to do the opposite. So I'm backing it to just like all break for the Doggies. Sorry, Doggies fans.
So when everyone buys that one player in Supercoach,
Yeah,
or
when everyone
one
captains
player.
Turbo against the Eels, gone.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm vibing. But if Dogs win, I will not even blink an eyelid.
Look, I'm going to go Dogs. I know I said it'd be close, but it's hard to knock their form. They've won 4 in a row, and they beat the Sharks, where I think that was the real test for them to see where they're at, and they succeeded massively.
Yeah, and
but
defense does win games. They'll go a long way. But yeah, I'm thinking a little cheeky upset.
And Waz have the bye. Shout out to them because people were quick to write them all after round 1.
They won 3 in a row, and they got the bye. They won 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's pretty crazy.
And so by the end of the round, they'll probably be sitting somewhere around the top 4.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
You guys
Don't
are
worry.
good.
And just side note for Jim's tips, he is going the Bulldogs. Speaking of Bulldogs, do you have our Bulldog, Gnocchi's tips? How'd Gnocchi go last week?
So last week, she got 4.
Okay.
She got half right. She started terribly. There was so many upsets.
In saying that, I got 1.
You got 1?
I got 1 or 2.
1 or 2. I think I got 2, 3 or 2. Like, it was a tough round.
It was a tough round.
So Gnocchi, you know what it was? This week, we got new balloons. So we didn't have all the colours the last few weeks. They finally arrived from Temu. Fucking took like 2 months.
So she understands
So
now.
now she can sort of see the team. She can see, pink for Panthers. Like, so I think we're going to stay with her 1 more week. So I'm going to go quickly through her tips. So starting off, Raiders versus Sharks. And off she goes. She looks at him and then bang, last minute she goes to the Sharkies. Okay, Panthers, Cowboys. She's really lazy here. She doesn't want to get up. She's looking at the Cowboys. She's like, nah, see you later. Go on, Panthers. Rabbitohs, Roosters. This is a tough one for her. She doesn't know what she's doing. Bang, she's picking South. South fans rejoice. Eels, Dragons. Let's see what she does here. She's really slow to get up. She doesn't like this game. She doesn't give a shit. And she goes Dragons. Titans, Dolphins. Again, she's just cruising on the floor. Lazy. And then she starts to go. So she goes towards the right and then bang, right foot step to the Dolphins. Broncos, Tigers. You'd think she's going to tip Broncos here. And she does. She tips the Broncos. Manly, Storm. Let's see what she does here. Starts on Manly side. Bang over the Storm. And the last one, Doggies versus Knights. Will she remain faithful? No, she picks the Knights against her Doggies. Can you believe that?
Can't believe it.
What an absolute grub Gnocchi is, tipping against her own breed.
Did she tip Dogs last week?
She tipped Dogs last week and she got it right.
So she's off him.
So yeah, if you're a Dogs fan, watch out. Gnocchi didn't tip him.
Yep. Well, how about we go through the listener questions to finish off? We'll go through them quick, Age. We'll try and read more, but we'll go through them quicker.
Rapid fire.
Okay. Chase Disju. Do you think if Penrith get back in their rhythm, they'll place in the top 4? Yes or no?
I think it's going to be more realistic this year, 5 to 8th, but they can make top 4. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Origin might be a bit of an issue.
I wouldn't be ruling them out straight away. Harry.Q14, have Tigers improved or just been lucky? I think they've improved.
No, they've improved.
100%.
For sure.
Like
100%.
everyone talked about the new signings, and they're ones that have actually been stepping up in the
Terrell
league.
May's been great. Safehar's playing unreal. He's not a new signing, but he's been great. Bolle. We didn't mention Bolle.
But
He's been
really
fucking good.
Been really good.
Galvin Luai is great for him, and yeah, the outside backs as well.
Benno Hall, Cal's winning the comp. I'm gonna say no. Yeah, move on. Just looking, Cooper, G6. Where do the Warriors sign in 2026?
Who do they sign? Or where do they sign? I think you meant who do they sign?
Who do they sign? They must.
Rumours are Kalen Ponga, and they're getting real toey, these Wars fans.
Oh, Ponga, Manu.
Cherry-Evans, will you get him over there?
I don't know.
Yeah, Joey Manu maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully one of them.
Which NRL player in their prime was/is the scariest?
Honestly, for me, it's always Manu Ma'u. That guy's scary as fuck. And he came out of jail and that year just went insane. Like, his eyes are fucked. He has that massive forearm thing when he plays.
That was pretty big.
He's scary. What do you reckon?
Steve Maddai was always one that I felt
you could get destroyed by him. Like, he just put a massive shot on you.
Yeah, I just feel like he hit pretty hard.
You reckon? Ask fucking Dave Tyrrell. Jeez.
Sam Burge, I think, would have been scary for oppositions as
Playing
well.
but he's not really a scary guy. He's a real nice guy.
Depends which way you're looking.
If he's angry, he's scary.
Like, in terms of like presence, look, and like Warriaga's scary boy.
Yeah, he's scary. Even like bold Clemmer at the Dogs when he used to be
Dogs.
fucking aggro.
Now,
he was scary.
Right now, if, like, guaranteed, I would say by most, someone like Fanua Blake or Olakwatu.
Yeah, Fanua, like, he would actually want to bash you.
Like, Olak, I feel like if you're a half and he's running at you, that's the last.
We saw what he did to that Matty Johns producer.
Oh, 100%.
Or Leon.
Okay, random one. Jaden Haith, 2025. Do you reckon Nathan Hindmarsh is coaching the Eels?
Fuck, going 0-4, wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, he's probably assistant coach to Riles, I think.
Schneed 3009. Is John Sutton an underrated pick for the best of all time debate?
Best of all time? Maybe best South player of all time?
Yeah, I think
he'd go closer, a lot closer.
Unbelievable player, but to put him best of all time.
Did he even play Origin, Sutton?
No, so I'd probably put him as the best of all time to not play State of Origin. That was illegible.
There you go. Maybe that works.
Carl Clements 09. When will Para win a game? Well, should we look ahead and actually see their run?
Yeah, so obviously this week.
So this week's
Dragons.
It's a chance.
That's a chance.
I'm not ruling him out, right?
I don't think it will happen, but they're definitely
next week they got Raiders in Darwin.
When's Moses back? That would definitely help this question.
Maybe round 7.
Let's say Moses back round 7. Okay, I reckon they lose next 2.
They play Tigers that round. Maybe
they beat Tigers with Moses back.
And just
maybe. And then what's
after that? They got the bye.
They'll win the bye. There we go.
They'll win the bye.
They'll win the bye at least.
There's your answer. And final question for the week. Star Aloha. Where do you think DCE is going? If you had to, all right, how about we narrow it down to 3 and we each pick a team that we think.
I think it's going to be Roosters, Dolphins, or a sneaky chance Broncos to win a comp if they let Reynolds go.
I like those ones. I'm going to say he's going to Roosters.
I'm going to say Dolphins.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think he wants to win a comp in his last 2 years.
In my head, Dolphins make sense, but I'm going to rule it out just for the fact that he needs to win a comp. And Dolphins are not winning a comp.
Dolphins are going to throw money at him. Will it entice him? We know he's the money man, Cherry-Evans. He loves going where the money is. So that's why I'm thinking
I'd
Dolphins.
narrow it down to Broncos and Roosters. Roosters makes sense. His manager also manages someone like Reece Robson and Tedesco.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, Roosters are always in the money to win a comp. Maybe not this year.
Not this year.
Hopeless.
They're cast.
And someone like the Broncos, Adam Reynolds is off contract for next season. So
if he goes, it makes sense. He's a Queenslander. Yeah. They can definitely win a comp next year with that star power team.
If Cherry goes to the Broncos, I've never seen a better fit in terms of like poster boy.
Yeah.
Where like Cherry-Evans just
like in that maroon,
Broncos are the number 1 team in Queensland. So he bleeds Queensland. So
yeah, I think that would be good, but do they have enough money? Will they let Reynolds go? There's a lot of questions there.
Yeah, I mean, they also got someone like Cobbo that they got to re-sign.
Yeah,
They've just signed Ben Hunt. I don't know where the money comes from.
Where they find this money?
That's why I think Roosters got the war chest. I'm going Roosters, my guess.
I think I'll go Dolphins.
Yeah. Well, that's all our predictions and tips for round 5. I hope you enjoyed. Leave us a comment if you want to see anything different or improvements, or if you have any questions for next week, we'll be sure to answer.
100%. And also, give us your rumours of where you think Jimmy is.
Yeah.
If it's not celebrating the Cowboys win, where is he?
100%. Anyway. We'll be back next week on same time, Wednesday.
Yes.
Whatever time
Wednesday
we post.
morning.
Wednesday morning.
Sweet. See you guys.
See ya.
Have a good one.